What are we doing here? Okay, really? I gotta deactivate it and activate it? Oh, come on now. Be a goober. We really gotta take the flow out this much just to fucking get the camera on. I guess because Discord's using it. Oh, that's probably what's happening. It's stealing it from OBS. Okay, but I can just use screen capture if I pull this here. Okay. Okay. And now Discord won't move across the screen. What are we doing? What are we doing? I just need... There we go. Good God. Okay. Okay, so... Spine, a spring lock. First, I imagined it as a bubble. A bubble. Dude, imagine how much easier it would have been to explain the fucking mouth if we just had a camera on and I just went like, look, mouth, teeth, 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 close. Imagine that.
Yeah, like in the old Skype call days.
Yeah, Jesus. Didn't we try that and the camera didn't work or some retarded bullshit? Anyway, okay, so, okay, stop and restart the recording. Or no, I guess, whatever. We'll just edit this shit out. Let me start editing. Okay. So.
Alright.
No,
okay.
Oh, you did stop, sorry. Okay, good. Okay, so, the point is that the first thing I imagined was an orb. The Power Rangers orb. The core where they resided. The critical piece which must be protected. Well, the other pieces. Jeez, I'm talking about it like gods. No, it's just my spine. It's right here. I imagine the bubble right here, and it's not a bubble. It kind of is because you're using a lot of ab muscles right here, and then you're also using the muscles behind it. So it is kind of a circle because you're using like a circle of ab muscles here, and then behind it, it's more of a straight up and down as you're using your I'm just going to call them your back abs, because it's really what they are. They're a different kind of muscles, which is why they're more up and down. But they're just like the two diagonal muscles, which run on the left and the right of your back. You should pretty intuitively be able to understand what I'm talking about if you have a spine. And so, basically, it's not a bubble. You imagine it as your spine. And you just imagine now all the rest of it as muscles. So you just imagine it as a break or a spring lock, right? You just imagine your spine literally directly starting here, going all the way down the middle. You imagine that you're applying a brake to your spine bones with your muscles. You're using every single muscle in your entire body. And I say all the way up. It's not quite all the way up. It's more for me. And I think for everyone, especially when we're talking about the preria punch, I think it's going to be right here, right at your belly button, directly at your belly button, behind your belly button, that particular joint, that particular spinal T1 or whatever the fuck it is. That is the specific one which I'm breaking. And it is the whole back. You are breaking your whole back. It's just that is really the only point that matters to break on, and I think that is also the point that Alex Preria is breaking on, which is weird. I don't know if he has the same back injury or a back injury of a similar type, or if what I think it may be is just that the solution to my back injury just happens to be the way that you generate the most power for using these particular muscle groups, which is weird.
It's just the most efficient way to use your back.
Well, that gets complicated because on one hand you're correct, it is kind of the most efficient way to use your back, but also you can get away with doing it the other way. You can get away with not using these muscle groups, and like I said, the reason I say I think Preria does this specifically is because I don't think other people do it. So I think it's because other people use completely. So for instance, like my father, whenever we were talking about Prearia's punches, I was describing to him how Preria punches, and he was like that could never knock anyone out. And then whenever he watched the punches, he was like, Jesus, it looks like he barely even hit him. And that's what like every single person that I've shown Prearia's form to says. And the reason that is because Preria isn't using what most people think of as punching form. So to them, it looks like, Jesus, he barely even tried. It was like a pillow hand punch. But whenever you look at what his body's doing, there's actually a really long animation. It's because, um, it's because all the animation which typically goes into a really hard punch comes from the arm. So you see someone go, ugh, it's not that at all with Pereira. It starts in his legs. You can see it. You can make the read. You can tell when he's generating power for his punch, and it takes just as long, if not maybe even a little bit longer than everyone else's punches. But because it comes from such, first of all, abnormal angle, most people don't expect your arm power to come from your legs, so they're not looking there. They're not thinking about that. It also, so it's not just abnormal. It's also like from a completely different location. So what I just said, people don't expect it to come from your legs, but then on top of that, people don't expect that at all. It's not a common form of punching yet. So people just don't expect you to attempt to generate power from them in the first place. So it's hard to read if they do know what you're doing, because it's your leg, it's not your arm. If they're watching your arm for a punch, it's very hard to also be watching your leg for the power generation, the key frames to read what you're doing. And on top of that, no one even knows that that's a thing to look for in the first place. So they're double fucked. So the big thing though is I think Pereira is also generating a break in his lower back, right below his belly button. Because if you watch the way he stands, he will bend his back. He is, and that's the thing that I always would try to say. I would try to say, like, look how Alex Pereira stands straight upright. But I never said it because it wasn't really true. You can look at him and he is hunched over. It's that, do you remember how I said that my physical therapist said to do a workout where the way you start is you start sitting straight up and then you take both arms and then you hunch your shoulders down. And then the way I explained it to you, or the way I definitely explained it to my mother, I didn't explain it to you like this, is you want your shoulders to be directly over your hip bones. So you want to be crunched, but you want your shoulders to be crunching over your hip bones, not your lower back to be crunching down. So that is what Alex Pereira is doing, where he is hunched over. He is compact. It isn't that, you can't say that he's completely standing straight up. It's just that the point at which he's bent over is not the point at which most people are bent over. If you look at, like, Petr Yan, I think, I don't also look at Petr Yan's form, but I imagine if you look at Petr Yan's form, and he may be a special case because of the way his guard works, but I imagine his form is very, very hunched over at the lower back. So where Alex Pereira looks like this when he's hunched over, I think Petr Yan is going to look like this when he's hunched over. And Pereira will never, ever, ever look like that. Where most fighters will typically look and fluctuate somewhere in between those two, you will never see Pereira enter a state where his lower back is hunched over unless he's blocking a kick or a knee to the body. Those are the only times you ever see him hunch over his lower back, and afterwards he will instantaneously stand back up. Also, just to season this, if I do get it right, and we don't watch these videos, and I got this horrifically wrong. I have not watched this footage to confirm what I'm saying right now. I'm saying this based purely off of memory and the observations which I had bookmarked in my mind before I learned this. So we'll see watching the footage if this is actually accurate predictions or not. For some reason, at the very least, I have already seen them. But yeah, I think that he generates a break in his back, which is shown because this was another thing I guess I didn't really say. I need to start calling it a break because I every time I imagine like Bane doing the breaking the bat and snapping. Not Spider-Man. No, Batman's fine. And so the spring lock. We'll call it the spring lock. Okay, I think Alex Pereira is spring locking his spine in place, his lower back. I think he's spring locking right below his belly button. I think he's spring locking it in place because your ability to break or spring lock is dependent on your lower back being straight. You're not capable of generating the compacting force necessary to stabilize your spine if it is bent over. Because what's going to happen is you're going to bend, and then you're going to activate these muscles to keep it in place, and it's going to... How do I explain this? I guess the easy way to explain this would just be, imagine trying to stop something. Imagine your arm is straight out, and now you can create a frame where you can actually hit here, and then after it gets past this, you can bend in. You can be generating power this entire time until finally it gets back here. And now imagine instead of that, you start here with a bend in your elbow, and now it instantly gets pushed back because you were not capable of creating that connection point between your shoulder and your back muscles to your hand, and it was instead just your bicep and your forearm. So you could generate a lot less muscle power whenever you needed it. It's the exact same thing with your spine, where if it's hunched over and you can still activate the brakes. It's not that the brakes can't activate when you're hunched over. It's just that the brakes do almost nothing. You're already so you're already in such a risky position that the brakes can't hold you completely still. So if you're putting yourself near the red line, near the point of overheating, overdrive, red line, whatever the fuck you want to say, if you're overextension, if you're near that point already, the brakes cannot stop you from moving entirely. That's not possible. All they can do is basically limit the jiggle, right? They can just sort of they can create a barrier where it can only jiggle so much. But if you're already close enough to the red line point, then even with you braking and holding it in place, it'll still, whenever you hit a bump on a bike or hit a speed bump in a car or a trip or anything like that, that's going to create rapid momentum going up the spine, and you're already like this. So typically the issue is it bends at the knuckles, and you'll see your back do this, and that can lead to overstimulation. Well, so now imagine you're now locking your, you can like feel your fingers tense up. So I don't know if you can see that my hands are kind of shaking because I'm really activating those finger muscles. And now, if we hit a bump, right, it'll still move. It's just that it's not going to be as free, but it'll still get
Shocks of a car.
Yeah, exactly. It will still be some shock absorption. The force is going to be there. So you're going to need to be able to absorb and disperse some of that momentum. And the more hunched over you are, the more momentum you're going to absorb directly in your spine. So you don't want that. And as far as generating power, like I was saying with Alex Pereira, for him, it's the same thing, except he's not worried about stabilization. The stabilization's only for power generation. So for him, I don't think he has a back injury. I don't think he cares about over-rotating. I think for him, the reason that he locks into place is because whenever he generates, I guess now take your thumb and pinky off, and, wow. I think that's actually kind of a really good analogy. Imagine your thumb and pinky are your arms, your little Alex Pereira hooks, right? And now try swinging with them. So first, let your fingers relax, let them crunch in, don't put any energy into them, and then try swinging left and right. You can feel that it's awkward. You can't actually generate much rotational power because it's going to reach this sort of point here where it's going to be going against the way your muscles are already going. Can you feel that, or is that just?
As in, if your three other fingers are more down, it's harder to move them left and right.
Down, and then you try imagining punching with hooks with your thumb and your pinky. It doesn't really work very well. But then if you put them straight up and then you tense the muscles in the middle three fingers, now all of a sudden you can throw.
It gives you more freedom to move.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing with Alex Pereira, I think, as that. Obviously different muscle groups and stuff.
And what are the three fingers in his body?
His three fingers are his spine, and the muscles that you're activating in your fingers are the muscles that he's activating around his spine to spring lock his spine into place. So, for me, I need to spring lock my spine on a bike just to make sure that I don't hurt my back. But for him, he's not worried about hurting his back. He just wants his back to be the perfect conductor, and the perfect conductor is straight. So he spring locks his spine so that his spine can better conduct energy between his leg and his shoulder. And they're the same thing. It's the same spring lock. The spring lock doesn't change at all. It's the exact same motion. So whenever I'm practicing not hurting my back, I'm also practicing my preria hook. Something I just did, which was huge, was I rode my bike with the pedals, which I never do, because that typically is like a one-stop shop, one-stop ticket. I don't know what the question is. One-way ticket to fucking Pound Town on my spine. I'll feel that for weeks because what I'll. So what? Yeah, here's a good example. I need fucking so here. So typically, what I would do if I was on a bike.
Playing the devil's harmonica.
Absolutely. You can see the camera, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, typically what I would do if I was on a bike is I would do, this. Okay, my knees are going to serve as the pedals. This is basically literally the exact same muscle groups almost as whenever you're actually pedaling. So typically I'll be pedaling, and what I'll do is you will see my spine. Okay, you will see my spine rotate. So what it'll look like is I'll be on the bike, and then my left leg will go up, and then you'll see a dip. You'll see my right rib cage dip in because my spine is what's generating the force in my legs. I'm using my spine to create force that goes down into my leg. That's terrible, terrible, terrible stuff. Absolutely awful thing to do to yourself. What you should do instead is, so I'm spring locking, right? So now I'm going to spring lock, and I'm going to completely, and yet again, it's not about keeping your spine straight. It isn't, because that can be an issue on its own. The thing that I found was that if I focused on keeping my spine too straight, then what would happen is, instead of getting back pain from crunching over too far this way, I would do the exact opposite. I would arch too far back this way. So what would happen is I'll be straight, everything will be fine, and then I would hit a bump. I go up, okay, I'm fine, and then I come back down, my body weight comes back down, and then I'm shocked. And then what happens is because I'm trying to straighten my spine so much, the shock forces my spine towards my belly button, and it forces my shoulders back, which is going to create this kind of pain instead of this kind of pain. But they're both bad. So, yeah, I mean, as you can see, based on the evolution of time, the first recording I made on this was, don't let your spine do this. The second recording is, hey, don't let your spine do this or this. Now it's, hey, don't let your spine do this, 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 or this. So as you can tell, it's just, I'm farther and farther understanding using muscle groups to control the movement of the spine. The big thing is, it's not keeping it straight. Because like I said, keeping it too straight can make it where whenever you absorb shocks, you just start going backwards. Keeping it too hunched can make it whenever you absorb shocks, you're going too far forwards. What you want to do is you want to keep it just like this. And the same way whenever if you point your finger...
Like in a fluid state?
Yeah, honestly, literally like water is one of the ways I thought, which is, corny and cliche, but it literally, imagining myself as water and then imagining that, like, you want to freeze the parts that are necessary. So it's like it's like you're using the muscle groups. The muscle group activation is the equivalent of ice, because in the same way you are using your muscles to turn them instantly into a solid state, you're turning them into an actual like crystalline hard state in the exact same way. Water would turn to ice like that. So it's like you have liquid and then you're freezing it whenever you need it to absorb shock.
Yeah.
It basically the spring locking is crucial because it like I was saying with Pereira, it makes you the perfect conductor for the energy coming from your hips. The two big things, okay, one, dude, having a camera is so much nicer. Oh my god, the concept that I would have spent like 9 minutes describing from these purchases, I'm gonna spend like 3 minutes describing instead, or like 1. So you see this L shape I'm creating?
Yeah.
You've got an L here, and you've got an L here. Okay? This L is going on your thigh right there. So this is the top of my leg. It's right, if you feel the bone, the big bone that goes through your leg, it's going to be the muscle that is right beneath, directly beneath that bone, right here, directly right there. It goes all the way along it. It's called your sartorius, the longest muscle in your entire body. It's it it is directly connected to the L I just showed you in the shoulder on the opposite side. So this L right here, right, it starts. Let's see, what is it? So actually, it would look more like this because it starts and goes under your hip bone, directly under your hip bone, and then it goes along the underside of your leg bone. So it starts under your hip bone, and then it's an L shape from it's a lot more curved than an L. It would look a little bit more like this, a little bit more like a moon or a banana, crescent moon or a banana in all actuality. But it runs really just the best way to imagine it is the bone. Touch your hip bone. It's the one that the big spike on each side of your body, and then from there, under it, specifically, so I would say that there's like a back and a front to the hip bone. So like if I pinch, I can have a middle finger pinch and a thumb pinch. It starts beyond the middle finger. So right at the bottom of the middle finger bone, like the bone that the middle finger is touching. So you have the top of the hip bone, and you have the bottom of the hip bone, and then you have left and right, and so at the left top of the hip bone, so that would be right here, so at the very left and very top of the hip bone, that is where this muscle starts. And then from there, it runs down along the hip bone, down along sort of the, I can't remember what the fucking name of the biology is. But like I was saying before, it starts right there at the bottom left of the hip bone, and then basically it's going to run right along your dick and balls. Directly along. It's going to start right at the hip bone, and then it's going to curve in. Honestly, this is the best shape, the hands. You can kind of see the L still, where if it's this shape, that is what the L would look like, but it really is more this shape. And it looks directly like this, where this is the hip bone, it starts there, and then it curves down directly along the bottom of the thighs, along there. I honestly, I shouldn't even be describing it, I should just be pulling up the literal anatomy pictures from now on. Okay. So
in the YouTube video version, there would just be the photo on screen.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the point is, you have those two L's, the two L's. You have one L here and one L there, and they connect on opposite sides. This L connects to this L, and the connection between them is what should generate all your momentum. So whenever I'm riding the bike, which I just was, which is crucial, I was riding it with pedal. What was happening was I would pick up my right leg, and instead of twisting my left rib cage in the opposite direction, I was keeping my rib cage solid. I was keeping my rib cage in one place. I guess that's another way to imagine it. You have to imagine it as your back. You can imagine it as your rib cage, and because your rib cage is literally coming from your spine, I think it will do the same thing. But anyways, rib cage or spine, however you want to imagine it, you're keeping those solid, and what's going to happen is instead, what you're going to see is you're going to see it happen in the shoulder. It's going to move in the shoulder instead. So now, whenever I pick up my whenever I pick up my left leg, instead of generating momentum by doing this, I'm going to generate momentum by doing this. And it's like, it's a direct one-to-one correlation. I have to use my back or my shoulder. It's one or the other. There's no choice otherwise. I guess without using a ton of different leg muscles. But so you can kind of see that this is right. I can feel it in this muscle, and then also in this muscle is the two primary ones. So I can feel it I can feel that I'm not using my back. And on this one, I am. Let's see. That left, oh god.
Yeah.
That literally physically hurts. Yeah, that's terrible. Okay, okay. That is the spring lock. Spring lock. Keep ribs. Keep spine. One place. Do not let move. It can, obviously you give it a little bit of give. It needs to be a shock absorber. Same way as a car suspension. You don't want to make it so straight that it can't absorb anything, and you definitely don't want to make it so bent that it absorbs everything to the point of being useless. You want it to be in that nice happy medium where it can absorb the most. That's what Alex Pereira is doing. He wants to be the rotor conductor. Instead of using it for suspension, instead of using it for bounce, he's using it to transfer. He's creating bounce in his leg, transferring it up and along and then into his arm. So he's specifically creating energy to go through the shock absorber and then be dispersed out of the shock absorber into a punch. So that's pretty sweet. Pretty good stuff that he's got going on there. Other than that, there's some other things I wanted to say.
It'd be cool if in the fight coming up he somehow uses this and in a very visible way gets the knockout with it.
Yeah, well, that would just be his left hook. His left hook is the most egregious example of this form. And yeah, I mean, it's very possible he gets a left hook knockout. I mean, it's the one he got on Dogfucker Jizreel. But yeah, I don't see it, honestly. It's funny. I think Preria might lose this matchup right after I make a video about him.
That would be funny. Imagine Yuri does this move on him.
That would be hilarious. Yuri is, and see, it's weird. Basically, here's what it all depends on. Does Preria have enough power for light heavyweight? And he kind of, I don't know, man. Maybe he bulked up. I don't know. He didn't look that powerful in his Yan fight. I feel like he landed really good left hooks that would have crumbled people in the weight class below him, which is where he's coming from. And I just don't feel like they're doing the same thing in this weight class. I feel like people are just used to taking bigger power shots. But yet again, maybe he grew into this weight class since his last fight with Yan. That was pretty soon after he got into weight class. Who knows? I guess this is...
Wasn't his last fight that he was supposed to have, he didn't do it for the injury? Or did he fight since then?
No, he fought in his last fight. It was the one against Yan. It was we watched it together. It was the one where it was a little boring because he just got like kind of wrestle fucked but won.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that
But the one before that was when he was out because of the injury.
I don't remember Alex being out for an injury, but I don't.
Not Alex. Yuri Proska.
He blew up his shoulder. Completely and totally blew up his shoulder. The UFC doctor said it was the worst shoulder injury they'd ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and was that the last time he was going to fight, or has he fought since then?
No, he has not fought since then. That was the last time he was going to fight. And
Yeah, so it's been a while for him.
Oh yeah. It's been forever. The thing is, though, all of his fights are forever between them. Also, Yuri's not the kind of person who I think is going to do bad with time off. If anything, he may do better because his shoulder's finally healed. He said it was hurting him for years. But here's the big thing. Yuri sucks. Yuri is not a good fighter. It just doesn't matter. He is so bizarre. So like Yuri does not have defense. This is what I'm trying to say. Yuri has no defense. The man has no ability to defend himself at all. He walks at you like this. Like a karate fighter or something. It's ridiculous. It's retarded. But it works because he's so aggressive. He's so beautifully good at offense that it serves as his defense. And honestly, Pereira has a similar thing going on. Where if you look at Pereira's defense, it's kind of weird and kickboxery. He'll do stuff like this and like this, where there's actually kind of a lot of openings on him. He's not very hunched up. He's not very protective. So he kind of there's a lot of opportunities on him as well. And he uses his extremely lethal and fast offense as a way to dissuade people from capitalizing on those opportunities. He's like, Alex is kind of just like a more technical version of Yuri, like a much more skilled version of Yuri. But the question is can Alex knock him out? And if the answer is no, then I could see Yuri knocking Alex out. I think Alex takes it in a decision. I think that's pretty reasonable to say. I think unless Yuri has enough power to consistently drop Alex, which he does, but does he have the skill to consistently land those power shots? Probably not. Then, unless Yuri can drop Alex, I don't see him winning a decision. Yuri is just such a good point fighter with his leg kicks and stuff. Alex is such a good point fighter. I think Alex will take a decision, and I think if he can get a knockout, if he has enough power to get a knockout, he probably will just knock out Yuri because his defense is so bad. But that's just those two factors. That's what it's all about. Because Yuri, I think, is going to go in and be the more powerful person, and he's going to be the more aggressive person. So I think if anyone's going to get the knockout, it's probably going to be Yuri. And Alex kind of fights for a knockout. I mean, kind of. That's not exactly. He's not like a Mike Tyson or anything, but even when you look at his first fight with Israel, right, he wasn't winning that fight before he got the knockout. He was actually losing. He was looking like an inevitable loss until that crazy 5th round KO. So I don't think it's that crazy to say that like Alex is kind of dependent, very much like Cheeto Vera, dependent on those power shots. And when you're going against a guy like Yuri, waiting for the right shot is not what you do. But Alex is so good at not doing that. Like Alex is so good at when you put him in the pocket, he'll fucking swing. So I don't really know. I think if this is my prediction. If Pereira has as much power as Yuri, I think Pereira takes it. If Pereira has less power than Yuri, I think Yuri takes it. There you go. That's your shitty, meaningless prediction.
The Aztec versus the Samurai. I hope they're marketing it well.
I really can't wait. Honestly, the two fights on this next card, I'm more excited for than any other fight in the entire UFC than Islam Charles too, which I
What's
guess,
the other one?
The other one is, it was supposed to be John Jones versus Stipe, and that got canceled, which at first I was really bummed out about, and now I'm actually like kind of happy. It's going to be Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. So basically what you have is, you know how Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane was supposed to be like unbelievable power striker versus nimble, beautiful movement striker? This one is going to be the exact same thing on giga fuck steroids, where you've got unbelievable prowess and speed and precision and technique in every single aspect of MMA and Tom Aspinall. And then you have Pavlovich, who is literally just like a retard with 2 wrecking balls on the end of his arms. It's absurd to watch Pavlovich. Just look up Pavlovich KO compilation YouTube. I haven't even looked this up, so I don't know if you find anything good, because the people on YouTube are so incompetent that the man who has absolutely nothing except KO since he entered the UFC probably doesn't even have a fucking KO compilation. That's how unbelievably inept these morons are. But you should, by God, be able to find a Sergey Pavlovich KO compilation.
Yeah, I see one.
Yeah, watch it and tell me what you think about it. Sergey literally looks like the Rocky villain. He's another one of these fighters that it's like, this guy was crafted in like a movie, and then someone accidentally copied and pasted him into our reality. Like he's not a realistic.
Yeah, this guy's huge.
Yeah, well, not just is he huge, he just like literally his strategy is, I'm going to walk at you, and then I'm going to do this, like a fucking iron golem or something. You know what I mean? Like just literally just like swing as hard as possible and never stop. Just never stop. Left, right, left, right, left, right. It's not like he's like landing front kicks or like slipping out on the outside and landing an uppercut. It's like he just walks at you and then he doesn't stop swinging. And what are you gonna do about it, Lucy? You can't.
Yeah, I'm watching his punches. They're just like doing the same thing over and over again. It's like tried and true method. It works.
Yeah. I mean, it really is just like whenever you get like an overpowered item in Skyrim. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't need to be creative. You don't need to drink.
He's like, he's got like the level 1 gauntlets, but he's like level 100 doing them.
Yeah. He's fully upgraded it to where he literally doesn't need anything else except his punches. And he's a really good wrestler as well. He just uses it for nothing but defense. So basically what you're going to see is you're going to see this one guy who's like the most well-rounded heavyweight ever, pretty much. where the guy's got great jujitsu, great wrestling, great striking, great chin, great speed. Like, he's just great at everything. Like, he's like Cyril Gane. If Cyril Gane had equally good wrestling and jujitsu, the man's just like a monster, a technical monster. So you both of these guys, Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall, have like I think like a 90% first round finish rate or something like that. Like, both of them have a 90% first round finish rate. Which, so like, Tom comes out, he'll knock you out, he'll submit you, he'll get you on the ground and then finish you with elbows. He'll do anything. He'll finish you any way he wants, and he'll always do it by first round. And Sergey will never finish you with anything but his hands, and he'll still always do it in the first round. So it's like both of them are monsters in different ways. So it'll basically be like speed, well-roundedness, and technique versus just strength. Just strength. That's it. Purely the modern day living embodiment of strength. So that one should be a fun first round.
Who's the other guy? Aspinall.
Aspinall. Aspinall doesn't look crazy impressive until you understand that he's a heavyweight, and then you understand that it's like he's in 2 times speed. He's out there with the speed and technique of a middleweight, wrestling these giant fucking blubber whales. That's what's so impressive about him. But yeah, you should maybe be able to find a good Aspinall compilation. His are a little bit more like diverse, so I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, crazy stuff. Cannot wait for the slides.
I'm gonna pull up Aspinall.
What is it?
I'm gonna pull up Aspinall. His name sounds like medicine.
Yeah, Chael Sonnen, I literally, I'm not even kidding, I laughed until I cried one night because I put on a Chael Sonnen video and he called him Tom Aspinwall 9 times, and every single time he did it, it just made me laugh harder and harder until I was literally like just sitting in the bathroom floor weeping, crying. And apparently Chael did that on purpose.
He's great at that.
Yeah, apparently Chael did it on purpose, which is even funnier.
What do you think of the
He's fighting. He's really like picking his opponent well.
Yeah, that was weird. Ariel was obviously right in some capacities. Like, Ariel was like winning the argument in a lot of respects, but I mean, it was just a battle of 2 people who didn't want to admit where they were wrong. Is basically what you were getting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in retrospect, yeah, I mean, Chael's obviously shit stomped him on the pay-per-view point. My God.
And didn't it get like brought up again? Like they made new videos about it?
Well, yeah, but what happened was that after the argument, Ariel said Chael hates Jews because he called him a weasel, which is retarded. And then
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then it came out that boxing numbers actually came out, which means that everything Chael's saying got statistically vindicated. So those are 2 big things.
But so that was like a few weeks ago. Did something happen recently, like yesterday?
No. What do you mean?
Thought I'd seen new videos.
Oh no, it's basically just Chael being like, you know what I mean?
Hypothetically, if you were to say that there were 60,000 pay-per-view buys, and then I were to say that there were only 10,000, and then you were to say that I lied, and then I were to say, provide any source, and then you were to say, I am the source, then that would be foolish, because we can now see that in retrospect, your views were not correct,
Yeah.
mine were.
It was just, the Chael Thunden version of a Ben Shapiro argument.
There'd be very long pauses in between every few words, of course.
Yeah. Yes, where he'd make a hand motion and then stop and stare at you like Jim from The Office. What was I gonna look up? Oh, Instagram. Shit. Where am I? Save. Come on, right?
So whoever wins the Yuri and Alex fight, is that gonna fight Sean Strickland?
Oh, no. This is for the belt. No, this is a weight class up. That's what I'm saying with Freire not having as much power. That's what I meant whenever I said that it all depends on how much power Preria has. Preria at Sean Strickland's weight class, look what he fucking did to Strickland. Jesus. He put that man down. He actually did, he did the, like, I don't know how. I'm gonna bail on that joke. I was gonna say, he did the opposite of what Israel Adesanya does to dogs. He put that motherfucker down, but the opposite of jacking off a dog isn't exactly killing it, I guess. But yeah, he fucking brutalized Sean Strickland. Do you remember that? We watched that together. That was the knockout Ryan missed. Yeah. He fucking destroyed Sean Strickland. That was at the weight class below. That Sean Strickland was still at that weight class. The issue is that Alex moved up. Alex went up to the weight class that Jamal Hill was champion at, but Jamal Hill also got injured. Dude, so there's this joke, you probably don't even know about this. There's this joke that has been around since I started watching MMA, and I've literally watched it like play out as like a reality since I started. Like, it continues to prove to be truer and truer over time. So, like I said, this was a joke whenever I started watching 2 years ago, was that whenever John Jones left the light heavyweight division, he permanently cursed it. So that in the same way that Harry Potter, it said that Voldemort left a curse on the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher's position, where there will never be able to be the same Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher for more than a year. It's the exact same thing in the light heavyweight division. John Jones made it where there will never be a champion who holds the belt more than one time. So that, like I said, that was a joke whenever I started watching MMA. Since then, you had Glover Teixeira fight Yuri. And then you had Yuri's shoulder explode. And then, okay, well, no. So first of all, you had Jan Blachowicz win and looked like he was going to be the best light. So this is also not Sherlock. You had Jan Blachowicz win, looked like the best light heavyweight ever. Then you had him get submitted by 50-year-old Yuri Prohaska. Or, Jesus Christ, I'm butchering my word. You had him get submitted by fucking 50-year-old Glover Teixeira. So you have this young, dominant, absolute prodigy beast as champion, who then gets submitted by a 50-year-old, which was never predicted in a million years by anyone. So that's weird. Then he fights Yuri. Yuri submits him. What the fuck? You have a literal jiu-jitsu old world champion who's beaten every single person ever by submission, getting beat by fucking Yuri Prohaska by submission? Like, what? That is, in its own, is a tell that something's going on. That God's doing some fuck shit, because that should not be happening. You should never, ever live in a dimension where Yuri beat Glover by submission. That should not happen. Then, Yuri and Glover go to fight again. Yuri's shoulder pops like a fucking balloon, worse than anyone else we've ever seen. So, Jamal Hill steps in. No one expects Jamal to win, because Jamal's literally, he's the one who got his arm. I showed you the video of him getting his arm snapped in half like a noodle and then continuing to fight. So he's got, like, not great jiu-jitsu, so people expect him to lose. He steps in, beats the shit out of Glover Teixeira. His leg explodes in a basketball game. Now, you have, yeah, so now, Glover's retired. What's his name? Fuck. Oh, yeah. Oh, also, I forgot to mention the fact that, Trevor, me and you, that title fight we watched, where Dana said these are going to be for the next title contenders, and then one of them, it was a draw, and Dana said neither one of them gets it. That was light heavyweight. So that's another weird thing for title contention. So with that, the belt was vacant, and then you have your two main people getting disqualified. And then, so now, after that, so now you have Jamal out, now you have Yuri back in, and Glover's retired, so there's no one for him to fight, and then now you finally have Preria moving up from the weight class below. So, it's like, now Prieria's gonna win this, just so that Yuri can't have a belt for more than 2 times, and then Prieria's gonna get his head blown off or something. Like, it's actually like, God will always step in to just shit stomp anyone who thinks they can be light heavyweight champ after Jones. It's weird. And like I said, there was shit going on like that long before I started watching. So I don't even know the shit before I started watching, but apparently there was enough of a lineage where that was already a joke.
And then, so according to the curse, the next person who gets the belt, something bad should happen to them.
Oh yeah, not even something bad. Maybe they retire. Maybe something horrific. Maybe something just ridiculous. Like maybe they win, but it's like Alex Preria wins by like flying triangle or something. You know what I mean? Just like what the
Yeah.
what the fuck what that shit, he shouldn't even know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like that. It's just that not only will no one be able to keep it, but also it's like the belt got cursed to the point where it's just like it now lives in cartoon world. Yeah, that's Johnny Walker's weight class. So God knows Johnny Walker will be the first reigning champ. Him and his dropping acne anvils on his opponent's head style.
That's quite the zany event. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Johnny Walker versus Alex Pereira. Oh my God. Okay, so
Have you seen the video of Alex Pereira worshiping the stone face?
yeah, I'm not worshipping. I just saw the video of his wife recording, and he just walks through the door holding a giant fucking stone face emoji. So funny.
I don't know if it's the same one, but there was one where he was like in the gym and he was like meditating in front of it, and there was like this ominous like chanting going on in the background.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy. You can see him joke sometimes, and it is hilarious.
If for a guy from the jungles, he knows how to meme well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a really good sense of humor. He's got a better sense of humor than Israel Adesanya.
Yeah. Can you hear the ambience of the helicopter?
Nah.
There's a helicopter just like hovering near our house. Just been there for like our entire call. Probably listening in on us.
What's up?
Yeah, computer says. I think tonight. I'm gonna double check, but I think that's what I saw last night. That was due on the ninth. Today's the ninth, right?
Yeah, I'm not doing that anytime soon.
Well, we gotta do it.
You know how to work ChatGPT at this point.
So you need to log in so you can put your answers in.
Yeah, just bring it to me when you're done.
You need to go back and look at the answers.
Yeah, so just turn it in.
Oh, but is it time? I don't know. I'll look.
Even if it's time, that's fine.
Huh?
Yeah, even if it's time, that's fine. I can just start mine whenever you're done with yours, and then you don't turn yours in, so that I just copy your answers.
Okay. And then I
That's
don't
it.
want to submit it at the same moment either. So then I'll just write down my answers and then you can just do yours later.
I wouldn't write it down, no.
Why?
Because it's going to take you so much time
I'll just take a picture. A screenshot of each.
of
row.
every answer. You
Yeah.
can do any of those if you want to. You're going to waste a lot of your own time doing that, and I wouldn't do it, but if you want to do that, that's fine. Dude, I don't have a phone. Damn. Oh,
So that looking like it could be fixed, or is it gone?
no, it's gone. I mean, maybe if I take it in and get like $100, but I mean, at that point, you can buy a new phone. But yeah, as far as can it be fixed here? No, it's good. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to do this. Okay, well. Okay. This should be good. Okay, you're recording, right? I'm gonna stop mine real quick.